Welcome to MMA Underground. You know, you got Buddy V along with the Canadians.
What's up?
Now, as you see, we have two very special guests here. Now, this is a special feature because they're actually going to be going head to head because you have one Big Smile and one Josh Kline. Bam!
What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's good?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
So, for those of you that don't know, all right, we're talking June 18th, so we're very close. And yes, there are so many fighting organizations, but this is Cagezilla, the one, the only.
It's my birthday.
That's your
Really?
birthday? Yeah.
June 18th, that's my birthday.
Wow.
Happy early birthday.
He'll put on a show for you.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
Get five tonight. Please, Josh, Matt, get five tonight. Get
We're gonna
five
put it all out there. I can see it happening.
Like I said, I'm not driving 6 hours from New York to lose or to put on a bad show. So
Rent too high anyway.
I think it's gonna be a great fight. I really do.
What part of New York you stay in?
I live about 40. I train in Rochester
Oh, lit.
at a place called Synthesis BJJ. Casey Lamb is my head coach, and Eric Henry is my striking coach, formerly of Bomb Squad.
Oh, lit.
Nice.
Upstate New York.
So,
I actually kind of got a something I was waiting for the show to tell everybody, but when I went to a seminar in Philadelphia, I actually hit it off really well with Nate Marquardt, and he's actually cornering me for the fight.
hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I'm keeping it. I'm trying to keep it a little quiet just for his sake. But I talked to him last night. You know, we're talking strategy, and yeah, I'm excited about it.
Very
All right, I won't say anything, but if you go out and you start sharing that snippet of you saying it, that's on you then.
Oh no, you guys are more than welcome to. I was waiting for the show. You know what I mean, and it's all good. But like I said, I haven't posted or anything like that. I was waiting for the right time. But
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah.
Honored that you chose this platform to announce that on. That's fucking awesome. I ain't gonna lie. Nate
Yeah,
Marquardt.
he's just another guy. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's why we connected, because I tried to keep my fanboy to a minimum, and I just talked to him like another guy, and we started a friendship.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we'll see him fight for Cagezilla someday, right?
Uh-oh.
Come on now.
Now, I'm curious. I had a question for both y'all because I was originally going to be a one-part question, but I turned it to a two-part. So for you, Josh, I know that you had your last few fights. You know, they were canceled bouts, and I know they can happen for any sort of reason. You know, postpone out this and that. And I know you, Big Smile Matthews, for the fans that want to know his name. You had a few canceled bouts as well. I want to know, how does that make you feel? You know, being in preparation, knowing who your opponent is, getting ready, and whether it's some sort of bullshit excuse or life happens and they accidentally got hurt. What do you guys feel about that?
You want to
go ahead? Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, sure. So I mean, it is part of the game, and it can be very frustrating, but it's just something that happens. And even when someone pulls out, you have to stay disciplined and you have to stay ready, because you never know when they're going to find someone else for you. And this sounds like a ridiculous number, but they said it like during my walkout, my last fight, I had 8 opponents pull out. That was my 9th opponent. So it's honestly, I'm so used to it now, but it can be frustrating because, you're watching film on somebody, but I just try to take it as I'm preparing, and no matter what, I'm getting after it. And, even if someone does pull out, I still have to do my job and become a better martial artist every day. So I try not to focus on it too much, but of course there is a little frustration.
To piggyback off what he said, it is unfortunately part of the game. I've been lucky up to recently that obviously any card that you're on any fighter, promoter, coach will tell you, come fight week, guys are dropping. Whether it's the butterflies or weight, guaranteed, any fight card, you're going to see at least 1 or 2 drops. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
And, but this last one really hurt. There's a video I posted on my Facebook where I was pretty much in tears apologizing to my fans.
Was it Mark Worthington?
Yeah, and it sucked because obviously I wanted to fight, but there's always going to be another fight. I felt bad about the Fans 4 thing where they subscribed, beforehand, and it's like a monthly payment they're doing, and they're doing it to watch the fight watch the fight. That's the sell, like to be able to watch the fight live on the app. And for those people, to spend their money and me not end up fighting after something similar like that happening in September, it really hurt, and Cagezilla did right by me. They got me an opponent right away. I'm glad that, Matt was ready to, make it official so I could kind of stay on the grind. And I'm definitely looking forward to a little time off. I mean, I've been in camp since February.
Oh, shit.
Definitely got prepared. And so kind of going off of that, I'm curious, everybody, we study fights. We're all fighters. We all have opinions on styles. But I wanted to know, what do you feel is your opponent's greatest strength that, they might try to utilize? I'm curious.
You want to go first, Josh, or would you like me to go?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, he's game, and at the amateur level, I think that separates a lot of fighters. You got to be game, and you got to be ready to get in the pocket and get down. And Matt's absolutely up for that. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's a great accomplishment. I've recently started my gi jiu-jitsu journey. Fighting MMA in the past, I've done some no-gi, I've won some no-gi tournaments and stuff, but I just did the Buffalo Open this past weekend, and definitely a learning experience. But I mean, yeah, I think he's a great grappler, great jiu-jitsu, and I'm definitely going to have to deal with that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was all very, very, well put, and I appreciate it. I think some of Josh's best skills are his volume punches. He has a good amount of punches that he puts out there. They're accurate as well. Like, even when it doesn't look like he's putting a lot of power behind it, a lot of the time you can see his opponent wearing the damage. So there clearly is, like, they are hurting the opponent. The right hand is very accurate. He also has a great trip, I've noticed, that he's pulled off in a few of his fights. So those are definitely some things I picked up on. And, I'm curious to see how that goes, June 18th.
I've never been taken down in 11 fights, brother.
I see that. I've been knocked down a few times.
I have not all the way, not cold, but I've had my bell rung a few times. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you've had a few takedowns yourself for sure in a lot of fights. But I've seen you wind up on the bottom. I guess it wasn't from a takedown.
Yeah. I'm trying. A couple times I got clipped, and I ended up on the bottom. But no, I haven't been taken down, and not so much a trip, but it's more of like a head inside single, like off the cage a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like I said, I appreciate that, and we both have our strengths as well as our weaknesses that we're both each going to try to exploit, obviously. And we'll see who gets it first.
I'm excited. For it. How do you feel? Since it being so long since you fought, you feel more experienced.
That's one of my questions. Yeah, let's hear it.
The camp that I'm in and the guys that I'm training with, it's definitely I've been able to knock the rust off. You know, but there's nothing you can do to simulate, you know, actually getting in there and fighting. And when the ref looks at you and says, "Are you ready to go?" You know, but you know, I'm glad I did. That's why I'm glad I did the tournament, because I got to feel those competition butterflies a little bit. I think that I am more mature than when I was fighting before. I was training myself while bouncing, burning both candles at the end of the night. I was single, like. This comeback was, I started this. I want to see how good I could be if I do everything right. You know, the diet, the training, getting a coach that's going to push me, not being the best guy in the room and getting your ass throttled continuously. And I think I'm better for it.
Very cool. Yeah, awesome answer.
When's the last time you fought?
I fought when we fight, I will have fought exactly 6 months ago, which was the day after my 28th birthday. So weigh-ins were on my 28th birthday. And this fight will be exactly 6 months after my last fight.
Is that the one Cagezilla fight that's on YouTube, the black kid?
No, that was my first Cagezilla fight. So my second one hasn't been uploaded. Yes, keep
Okay.
for that.
I haven't seen that one either yet. Dang, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my debut, the one that's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
9 guys pulled out on you for one card.
8. I fought the 9th opponent. And when you watch the video, Sadiq Youssef was doing the commentating. I know that Ryan has been in the comments, so he can confirm 8 people officially pulled out of the fight.
Well, I mean, you're definitely, you know, one of Cagezilla's, you know, local guys. They're probably looking to push a little bit. You know, you got a little charisma, and you know, and you're a good guy. So I'm sure they're happy to have you on the card. And I'm a little colorful myself, so I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be a great fight, man. I think we're gonna fucking rock the house.
Let's go. I'm excited for that. Yeah. I think it's gonna be
but on a serious note, I plan to come out there and get in your face and get down.
I know. I've seen your videos. I see how you fight. Yeah, I'm excited to have someone bring the fight to me. Honestly, sometimes it can be just backing up and stuff like that. Like, no, me and you are going to be there to fight. We're not there to outscore each other. Here's Ryan with the comment.
Yeah, and it's not going to be like, you know, you see some fights sometimes, and in like the middle of the second round, the fighters like agree to let themselves get like a breather real quick. Bro, I'm going to have no mercy. I'm trying to take you down. I'm trying to put you out.
I know, and I appreciate it. And yeah, no, I'm not going to need it either. I go rounds after rounds after.
I feel you, and like I said, that's why I think we're going to put a great show on. I think it's going to be great.
I got to second what the Yankee and the Brit commented earlier. This is like going to be the nice battle of like two of the nicest guys. The cage door locks, the piece comes out. Before them, they're all like extra nice. And yeah, I can dig it. All right.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're sport. You know, I mean, it's a sport. You know, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I served in Iraq. You know, you know, and
thank you.
I have a Purple Heart. You know what I mean? I was wounded in action. So, I mean, I faced true life or death before. The cage is the closest thing I can find to that adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's for sport. And, you know, one of us is going to win, one of us is going to lose. Pray to God that we both walk out of there without any major injuries so we can continue to live our lives. And it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Before I ask my next question, Canadian, you got anything brewing you want to ask real quick? I know sometimes I can get in there and cut you off. So.
No, it's no.
I have a question for Matt, actually.
Please.
Okay, there we go.
Give me some of your MMA inspirations as far as fighters, and then I'll give you some of mine.
Okay, the first one that always comes to mind first would be Daniel Cormier. He'd be like number 1 on the list. I really like the mentality of Hamzat as well.
Who's that?
Hamzat, Some people
I don't know who that is.
not.
Who is that?
He's like he's from Russia. He's finished a lot of his fights in the first.
Oh,
Like the
okay,
beard and the
okay,
bald head.
yeah. I know
I
you're
don't know
talking.
what
Okay,
it means.
okay, my bad. Yep, I know you're talking about. Yep.
That could definitely be on my end, but yeah, I love Daniel Cormier. You know, he's like he's a very like calculated person as well as like a respectable person, and he can also just throw down, and he's got that wrestling background. So yeah, I like him a lot.
My answer is gonna show the difference in our age, for one. Okay.
Okay.
So I love the Pride days, like
Okay.
Shogun, Shogun Rua in the 2005 Grand Prix. I think is one of the greatest accomplishments in MMA history. If you look at the people he fought to win
You're
that,
showing your age. I love that era. I love.
I don't know if you guys know, but I had my first fight at 19, right? And it was because watching Pride highlights on YouTube, and I was like, I could do that.
Shogun Wanderlei,
Fedor,
Fedor,
yeah,
Mirko.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, all the champ stuff now. Dan Henderson was the first champ. He had both Pride belts.
Very true.
And he doesn't get respect for that. But as far as UFC goes, I followed Shogun into the UFC. I love Robbie Lawler. He's a man. You know, I like them fighters that'll get down. That's what I'm about.
What do you think of his brother Morello?
Not nearly as talented. You know, good pro. You know, he had a good career as a pro fighter, but I would never say top 10 ever.
Okay,
Fair enough.
That's pretty reasonable. He was alright. But he wasn't.
Matt. I don't know if you know this. You know, this is my first fight that I'm allowed to elbow and knee.
No, I didn't realize that.
In New York, you can't elbow to the face. You can't knee to the face, and you can't like ground and pound with elbows at all.
Wow. Yeah.
I think like in Washington we have similar for amateur. You can't like elbow straight to the face and knee straight to the face too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freedom, you know. I like it. I think you're gonna like it, at least mostly.
I like that it's. I mean, we're pretty much having a pro fight. You know what I mean? If you really think about it. And that's another thing I like about Cagezilla is that they have pro and amateur. So when you decide to make that transition, you know, you already kind of have a platform to do so.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also the venue, it feels very professional while you're in there. So I figure if I take my first pro fight at Cagezilla, it'll be a very smooth transition. Feel identical, you know.
Huh. Speaking of what?
Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, just speaking about the cage, I was actually going to ask you guys if fighting obviously on bigger platforms and like Cagezilla, having the crowd and like the cameras on every angle, does that ever almost take away from some of your focus when you're trying to stay in the zone fighting?
I was just about to ask the same question.
No, I think if anything, the crowd fuels my energy and I can feel their excitement. And if anything, it helps me dial in and just try and support them and what they want.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear the crowd, obviously. I remember one time being in the corner and some guy just being, "Kline, you suck," and I just distinctively remember that. But when you're like, you know, in the round and you're fighting, you hear your coaches, you know, and you try to hear your coaches, but it's like a muffled sound in the background, almost, kind of, sort of, when you're you know, toe to toe and trying to save your noodle.
Yeah.
But no, I was like leaning against the cage. I had like my arms up on the cage, like my back, you know, to my opponent, because I used to do this thing where I wouldn't sit on the stool to try to play like the mind game with my opponent. And some guy was just straight up to the cage, "You suck, Kline." And I just couldn't help but laugh. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
So quick, I know we're gonna have to take a quick break to say hello from our sponsors, OTH Magazine.
Overtime hustling. What's good?
Overtime
It's your homie,
Hustling.
Freezes Christ. Y'all know the deal. Make sure y'all head on over to overtimehustling.com where you can catch all the latest merch, all the newest mags, all the media, everything, know what I mean? And you can also find me on Winging It with the homies Keith G, King Dale, and Payne Gusto. And you can catch me on Turf Tales with the homie SK, as well as Backbox, you know what I mean? And if you got nothing to do on Sundays, even if you do got something to do, make sure you tap in the Overtime Reactions hosted by the homie Cuzzo. And I cannot forget the homie Jay over there at the Yankee and the Brit channel. So make sure y'all go over there and check them out. And hey, check me out, your boy Freezes, on that Real Talk with Jay. It was a hell of an interview, yo. Gotta do it again. I keep saying it because I mean it. We gotta do it again. I had a great motherfucking time. But anyway, you know who it is. Freezes H, OTH, Yankee and the Brit, Winging It, Turf Tales, Overtime Reactions, Chronicles Podcast. You know the drill, Cush's Corner. It's a motherfucking movement. So move with it. Or move out the motherfucking way. Simple and plain.
Overtime hustling, we hustling overtime.
Yeah, look at that. Ooh, 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 ooh. Got the magazine right there. Bam! So you guys would say that fuels you. You know, you guys come out and kind of add this extra. So one of the questions I had, because I've heard some different responses, do you get to choose your walkout music, or do they hand you a set list and you have to pick from that?
I've never been to a promotion where they gave you a set. It's always pretty much you can pick it, right, Matt?
Correct.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. That'd be kind of Bush League.
Okay, I'm glad I said no to that fight offer.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to tell you. You know, they didn't tell me that it was going to be both of us, Matt. Did you know? Did you know?
Well, they specifically told me like you were going to be on here, and they asked if I wanted to join. So I apologize.
I mean, obviously, it's no big deal. I mean, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
But I didn't know till I saw the post, and I was like, oh, all right. And the matchmaker was like, yeah, they're huge Big Smile fans. So I was like, oh man. But no, this is great.
Yeah, nobody's biased or anything. We all just love fights, and you know, it's pretty much always a good atmosphere.
Now, your gym, is that right in Manassas?
My gym is in Falls Church, so it's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
But safe to say you're definitely gonna have the hometown crowd.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some people up in there. Yeah,
I'm used to that, and I think my experience because where I live in Newark, New York, which is like an hour from Rochester, and it's a small town. So I mean, anytime that I'm fighting, I'm having to go. I never sell a big ticket seller, you know, because I'm always going somewhere else, and I've been in that environment before, so it doesn't really bother me. I mean, they're not fighting for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Honestly, like I've had a few people come to my Cagezilla fights, but I think I've also like gained some fans from like being there and people that are always there. Because there's people that I never met before, and like they're like asking for pictures, and they're really nice and like giving me compliments and like saying they'll come next time and stuff. So it's a good atmosphere. I'm sure you'll enjoy everybody there.
I mean, I got to see the venue. I was there for weigh-ins. Like I got there. Was waiting around to weigh in. I saw, I did like they were doing the what's up?
That's how late your guy pulled out?
Yeah, dude. I got there. I was the first person there on Friday.
Wow.
And I was the first person to do like they were doing the cameo stuff in the back room, like for intro videos. I was the first one to do that. And then I started looking around, and when they walked up to me, I knew.
You had that feeling already. Something off.
And they told me he wasn't. The story I got was he got arrested on a probation violation. And check this out. So he's in jail for like 3 weeks, right? This guy messages me, and Gladius is the big promotion in New York. And they're having a card in July. And he's like, let's fight on the Gladius card. And I'm just like, dude. I'm not one at a time. I'm not looking past Cagezilla, but I would never waste another second of training on that dude.
I feel you. When someone pulls out and then they try and like get a fight with you again, you're kind of like, we had our date, like we had our time, and
He commented on one of my things. I respect you, but I still want to fight you. Like, bro, you had your shot.
I agree with you.
And I was gonna say before we went on, Matt is a far tougher opponent than Mark. No disrespect to Mark. And I haven't fought in a long time. I'm looking for a win to put my name on the map. And I think it's safe to say whoever wins between us will probably fight for the belt next because it's vacant.
Likely, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what my plans are after this fight. I don't know. But yeah, that would be really cool. It's hard to look past, right? Hard to look past, taking it very seriously. But I'm hoping to be ranked number 1 in Virginia after this fight. I'm number 2 right now. I think if I put out a dominant performance, I should be ranked number 1.
Obviously, I'm unranked because of inactivity, but all it takes, you're only as good as your last fight. All it takes is one good performance, and you're right back in the thick of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 questions I want to ask y'all.
Jeez, I've been waiting to hear from you.
Right. Josh said something about. Well, he said he goes out and can feel that crowd being against him. So I wanted to ask, can you guys talk a little bit about your support systems individually? What's your support system like in New York, Josh? Who's rooting for you? And,
well, I'm really lucky that I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's a big wig for the state of New York, and she's actually got a couple really big promotions in the last few years. I'm really proud of her, and so that allows me to pretty much train full time. I mean, and my son, he's in the gym with me every day. He's growing up in that environment, and I've had him doing some judo and some BJJ. He'll be 5 in July. Outside of that, I have some really great coaches. I mean, Casey is I'm so lucky that I found Synthesis BJJ. Before I joined Synthesis, I actually joined a different gym in my area that I'm not going to name out of respect for them. And it just didn't work, for whatever reason. I was looking for a fighter coach bond, and
community.
Not to be like selfish, but I just didn't want to be just another student, right? I wanted to have a relationship with my coach, and and I found that with Casey, and so thankful, and I think it's going to show here in a couple weeks.
Smile.
Nice. Well, I mean, I'm very blessed as well. I have the most wonderful wife, and we're able to train together, and that helps her be even that much more understanding. He's hoping to take a kickboxing bout coming up here, and her support is incredible, as well as the support from my gym. I mean, the amount of things they have done for me, my sensei has done for me, is honestly insane. Like, he's changed my life. Like, I was working in preschools, full-time plus some, like lots of hours, 50 hours and whatnot. It took me a long time to work into the administrative position that I was, but my sensei straight up matched what I made plus some so that I could come train pretty much full-time. Like, I train before work, I pick up the kids on the bus, I teach some kids martial arts, we do that for a while, and then it's the evening adult classes. And, sometimes I am helping people out in the evening classes, but sometimes I can just straight up train. And my sensei blessed me so much to allow me to have the correct martial arts lifestyle. And, at one point, me and my wife's cars both shit out on us within like a month of each other. So, like, at one point we were sharing the car, and at one point we had no cars. And my sensei helped us out so much to be able to even get the car, and gave me a raise so that I could afford to make the monthly payments. And he's a father figure to me, and he's done so much for me. And Can't wait to make him more proud coming up here.
Hell yeah.
I think that's all. I think that's awesome. I'm happy genuinely happy for you, man. I think that's great.
That's
Thank you.
seriously a
I
great
think you probably have the coolest job in the world, Josh. Like, I can't wait until the day I'm a father and until the day I can make my wife a mother, because like that's like one of her main like things in life. That's really what she wants out of life, is to be an incredible mother, and she's so incredible with kids. And I've always worked with kids and loved kids, so I love that you're a stay-at-home dad. I think that's such a cool job, and I'm glad that you're proud of it as well, like as you should be.
It's especially special for me. I grew up without my dad. You know, he wasn't around. But I got to tell you, there's a stigma for the stay-at-home dad thing. You know, at first, you know, some of her family, some of my family are like, "Why don't you just get a job?" You know, and I was bouncing at a bar, and she's got a 15-year career. Who's gonna quit their job, right?
Yeah.
You know, and she's making great money, and you know, we live a very comfortable life. We're actually moving after the fight into a house, which is exciting.
Yeah.
same area.
Yeah, I mean it's so great. You know, I always have my boy with me, and he's awesome. He is awesome.
And I'm sure you guys have the best bond because of that. And honestly, that's more important than any job you could ever have, is your relationship with your kids and your family. So I think it's awesome.
I like that he's in the gym environment. You know, nobody wants their kid to be a bully, but I'll be damned if my kid gets bullied.
Mm-hmm.
It's unrelated to MMA, but there's a really big thing going on actually in my town. A handicapped kid got assaulted by like 5, 16 they're all kids, and they like assaulted him and took all of his clothes and his shoe, and it's all over the paper, and it's a really big deal up here right now. And it's just horrible to see. I live in a small town where stuff like that never really happened.
That's sick. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's pretty awful.
Finds peace and safety. Yeah, I wish the best for him.
Yeah. And New York has this bail reform thing where you pretty much have to murder somebody to be kept in jail. I mean, they were arrested and let go with court appearances the same day.
Jeez. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the bail reform is a big thing in New York right now as well. Rochester's like one of the murder capitals of the country. It's really crazy. They need like the National Guard or something.
Yeah.
Dude, gotta stay packed.
How old are you, Matt?
I'm 28.
Oh, okay. So, say we're both grown men. You know, we're not really kids anymore.
I go back and forth, man. Sometimes I sure do feel like a child. Yeah, I at least pretend to be an adult most of the time.
I hear you. Any other questions from you guys? I feel like me and Matt are more talking with each other.
We're becoming buddies.
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, right. Oh no, not
Right.
till after
Hey,
the fight.
y'all had some good fucking conversation.
Yeah, you know me. Come. Wow.
Do y'all look at pulling out of a fight due to injury differently from pulling out for any other reason?
If it's a legit injury, what can you really do, right?
Yeah.
But if it's not making weight or whatever, then that's chicken shit.
What's more frustrating for you? Someone pulling out of a fight or no contest?
Probably the pulling out of a fight, because in no contest, at least like you and both the fighter are there. You're both there to fight, and something went wrong. I mean, there's so many different ways a no contest can happen. Fortunately, I've never experienced it, so I'm kind of just assuming how I would feel. But at least, you know, you both went there, you went to fight, and, you know, mistakes happen, whether it's the referee or an illegal strike or whatever it is. It happens. And, you know, especially in the amateurs, we're here to fight another day. So at least you all showed up to bang.
with the no contest thing, at least you got to fight.
Yeah.
You know, at least you got to. That feeling, I'm telling you, if you never experienced it, when that ref looks at you and asks you, "Are you ready?"
Mm-hmm.
That's a special feeling.
Yeah,
You know,
it
and
is.
getting to feel that, you know, the no contest thing. At least you got to do that instead of just, you know, you put in all that work for nothing. You know, and that's how I felt when Wyatt. I'm sorry, my son.
No worries.
It's all good.
Do your
I got
thing.
my
You want to say hi? You want to say hi?
Hey,
What's
buddy.
up?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
You gonna say hi?
Hi.
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 All
He's
right.
like, who are you people?
Man, no, that's awesome. Heck yeah. I love to see, I train my kids too. The only issue is when they get mad at each other, they know how to punch each other. I'm like, oh, come on, you guys. You're
I
supposed to be
wanted
just a punch.
I wanted to answer a question I saw someone wrote on the bottom. They asked both of us, who is the best person that either both of us have trained with. You want to go first, Matt?
I'd say number one from my eyes would probably be Ahmet the Turk Correctly. He's my Muay Thai coach, and he's at fight team practice pretty much every day. We also have Zico, who's in the UFC from my team. But for me, I would say Abi Ahmet, because he has like over 200 Muay Thai fights. He's been fighting since he was a teenager, such a veteran, and he's still knocking people out. And he teaches me so much one-on-one. So I'd say he's the most entertaining and the most developed fighter I train with, probably. But I have a lot. I mean, Najim The Rock. I mean, he's one of my main training partners, Pro 205er, quite the veteran. And yeah, we have a lot of guys on my team, but that's just a few.
Um, I'm obviously I mentioned Nate Marcour, you know, earlier, but I just did a seminar with him, you know, as far as like really, really, you know, the day in, day out training. You know, my head coach Casey has quite the resume. He just got second out in Vegas at Worlds for BJJ black belt, and he kind of got robbed in the finals. He won the brown belt world championship when he was a brown belt. You know, he I believe he was like 4-1 as a pro MMA fighter. You know, he wrestled for he's one of the better wrestlers in New York State history. Eric Henry, my striking coach, he fought in the World Combat League, the Chuck Norris thing.
Oh, cool.
I think that is so awesome. As you guys can see, my Chuck Norris painting.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Chuck Norris's Lone Wolf McQuaid.
That shit's
He's
sick.
probably the main thing that got me into fighting. Like, I'm a huge. The day Chuck Norris dies, I will have to take like a sick day or something.
So Shogun Hu and Chuck Norris.
And Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And
Hey.
Stone Cold. There we go. There we go.
And
Now-
you guys wrestling fans?
Yes.
Oh,
Old school
heck yeah.
wrestling. Not now, but old school wrestling, hell yeah.
Well, you know, he just came back for WrestleMania.
Yes.
Did you see
What?
the match? Did you guys see the match?
No.
He fought. He had a match with Kevin Owens at this last WrestleMania
That's pretty
What?
sick.
in Dallas Stadium, and they had a match, like a real match. So it was kind of a retirement match for him because the way he went out before, it was quiet, and he deserved better.
Yeah.
Didn't the Undertaker retire like 2 years ago?
No, this past WrestleMania. Well, he was in the Hall of Fame this year, but he retired like 2 years ago or something like that.
Fair enough.
I
Huh.
actually went to
Legacy
WWE the week before I was supposed to fight Worthington. They were up here, and I went and saw it, and it was really cool because Cody Rhodes just came over from AEW to WWE, and he was there, and that was pretty cool. I'm a big wrestling fan.
Nah.
Favorite all the time.
I believe it with the nickname, the Klinomania, and all that.
Man, I've had that since I was like a freshman in high school. My wrestling coach,
Uh-huh.
you know, came up with it, and I've just you know, it sticks. I like it.
I like it too. It's cool.
And I mean, but the big smile thing works too. I mean, literally every video you pull out the smile. So, but hey, do you have pro aspirations? You looking to, try to see how far you can get?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm hoping to, we're gonna see how this fight goes, of course, but I'm hoping to go pro relatively soon. Like it is, yeah.
I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this fight. I'm not a natural heavyweight, before I fought at 185, 205, and
I noticed
I
that.
got up to like 315, and I'm working my way down. I'll do this fight, and maybe look to fight, win an amateur title, and then maybe spend the rest of the year, getting ready for a pro debut at 185 at the beginning of next year. In my perfect world, you know what I mean? But what's that mean?
I think
I don't know who that is, but I could use that time to take a break for the Yankee and the Brit commercial that we have. So let's run it, Jay.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay from Yankee and the Brit telling you to come over and check out our shows. The Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk, Well Beyond the Arc, the Markout Podcast, Flagrant and Foul, Real Talk with Jay, and MMA Underground Weekly at YouTube.com/The Yankee and the Brit. Deuces.
No, I'm here.
Woo. No, it's cool. So, kind of piggybacking off that question you had was kind of what I had was as COVID kind of eases off and people start to get back to their normal lives. Do you feel that you're gonna try to expose yourself a lot more, try to get more fights, or even with different events going on, and try to branch out to obviously go pro eventually? Or
go ahead, Matt.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. COVID hasn't slowed me down too much. At the very beginning, it was, I wanted to pick up some fights, and it was tough for a bit, but that's why I just took those street beefs fights, and it's easy to get that experience. And, people have been hitting me and my sensei up for matches, ever since. And since my first Cagezilla match, I'm just going sanctioned now. And, it's not too hard to get matches. I feel like whether COVID is still here or not, people are more comfortable with it. And I'm definitely not afraid of anything like that. I only wear a mask if people make me. And I don't know. I think everything's going to be just fine. It's going to keep rolling with it, keep that momentum going. And yeah, see how far I can take it. I'm aiming for the mountaintops,
When my wife got this last big promotion, she knew, as Rocky said, I still had some stuff in the basement, and had some, and I didn't want to look back with regret when I was an older man, So she gave me 3 to 4 years, depending how I do, to see how far I can get, and I plan to fight as much as possible. I mean, I was going to fight, didn't happen. Boom, got another one. Like he said, get through this one, see where we're at, and I'll be on to the next one. And I'd really like to try to get into Bellator relatively early, and and I've seen them offer some guys some pro debuts. I actually had a couple guys I know got a shot at pro debuts in Bellator. A great performance in this. Couple great, you never know. I got a couple people that know a couple people, I guess. And the fight game is a small world. It really is, and opportunities are there. You just got to rise to the occasion. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
It's always the limit.
Is you can create your opportunities just through your performance, right?
Yeah.
People are gonna see it, so yeah.
That's what they say. Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity.
I believe luck only comes to people that have paid their dues.
There we go.
Hell yeah. So I'm curious. We usually, sometimes, like you said, you thought you were going to be on here by yourself, Josh, so we kind of sprung it on you. Yeah, a big smile. And during these personal interviews, I'd like to ask, did you fight growing up? Was there something that got you into fighting in cages? Or
I wrestled all, Pee-wees up, to varsity, 4 years varsity. And like I said, when I was 19 is when is when Liddell and Couture were fighting. That's when that was really starting to blow up, and I was like, I could do that. I literally Googled, I want to fight, and I went out to Atlantic City for Cage of Vengeance. Man, I remember training with these like plastic karate gloves in the back, and like my training was just like lifting weights, and it so bush league, so bush league.
Yeah.
And but I got to go out there, and that was a great experience, especially 5 19-year-olds in Atlantic City. That was a great time, and yeah, that's just how I got. I was also a combative instructor in the Army. There's 4 levels of combatives, and I went through all 4 levels, and as I did well, I won a big tournament in Iraq while I was deployed, and the more I did well in combatives, I was like, man, I really want to give fighting like a go, and so
Yeah.
when I got out of the Army, I came back home and got after it, won some, lost some, and I'm ready to give it another go.
Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now, do you watch some street beef fights, Josh?
I mean, I've only watched them because I had never heard of it. I mean, I'd heard of like the Dada 5000 thing, I had heard of the little Hercules guy that I saw on there. I think
Baby Hulk or whatever?
maybe or something like that. Yeah,
Baby Hulk.
but I had never seen Street Beefs specifically. But I mean, obviously, I've watched it. Now that I'm scouting Matt, and like I said, some people might look down on that or hold their nose up to it, but you're still in there laying it on the line. That's a fight.
It takes a special kind of person to actually get in there and get punched in the face and be like, I'm going to do this. Regardless of if it's 1 time, 100 times. I mean, that's balls that, you can't take away from anybody. It's like, ooh. Now,
I don't really look at it like that. I'm just used to competing. Like even in jiu-jitsu matches, you're out there on the mat. It's kind of the same wrestling mat. You're out there. I guess maybe I'm just used to it.
Yeah, you just come to the level of competition. Ooh.
Right. I mean, and me and Matt, we're both at a spot now where anybody we fight should be tough. Like we're not fighting debut guys anymore. Guys that are, maybe they're gonna be a fighter. It's a one-time thing. Like me and Matt, or anybody we fight now going forward, are always gonna be tough guys, and that's just the game.
Oh yeah, and you said you're fighting Ami, you want to go pro, you're fighting all the different arenas, you're fighting in Cagezilla. What would you guys, either of you, ever say if, let's say, like BKFC, Bare Knuckle ever wanted to have you come out? No, yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
At this point in time, no, but like honestly, like towards the end of my career or something like that, I would definitely consider it. My goals right now are strictly MMA. That's my strength is MMA. Grappling is a big part of my strength. Now, bare knuckle MMA, that's a different story. That's something I could consider. But my goals are in MMA. And honestly, like I really enjoy bare knuckle, but like it seems like a lot of guys go there to retire. So I don't want to look like I'm giving up on my career. Like I have a lot of big goals I want to obtain, and I don't want to go off course, even if it does get me, a nice paycheck or whatever it is.
I want to take this chance to give a buddy of mine a shout out. Shout out to Matt Phillips, ranked number 5 for BKFC and the 155, I believe. He's going to be the world champ. He'll appreciate that. But like Matt said, I feel the same. I feel like it's kind of a last stop on the way to the end of the road for a lot of people. I'd like to have my own gym someday. I'd like to transition from, when I'm done fighting, I'd like to be a coach, and that's kind of, I think, the route that I'm headed towards.
All right.
Something that doesn't interest me really at all.
I mean, I feel like there's different levels of people coming into the sport, but like both you said, I have to agree whether true or not. A majority of the fighters go because it's almost like a tail end of the career. You have older fighters. You have people who said, "Oh, I went 2-10 in MMA, but I came to BKFC and all of a sudden I'm 6-2." And so it's
Yeah,
just
look
and
at the
it's very-
champ. The one guy, he just beat Riggs. He had a horrible MMA record, I feel like. Right?
Oh, I was facing. Oh,
Right?
I fucking
I know.
screamed at my phone watching that fight, man. I screamed at my phone.
We all he's the guy that carries the belt around everywhere.
Yeah, I know exactly about what the
Yeah,
hell.
yeah. And I like Riggs. I was sad to see him lose. You know, Riggs is a true legend of the sport.
Fucking
You know, like he's been there around forever. And then later in his career to win the Fight Master on Bellator, you know, I think that showed a lot. You know, maybe when he was younger, I think he might have folded under that circumstance.
Oh, and there's a few people that I will move out the way for. If I walk past him and he was like, "Move," I'd be like, "Oh, yes, sir."
I actually wrestled John Jones in high school.
No shit.
Because I mean, he wrestled for New York. That's not a secret, and I mean, he dominated me. But the first gym John trained at was Bomb Squad. So I know Casey, my head coach, actually cornered John for a couple fights, and they were training partners. Casey was fighting at the same time John was coming up, and like I said, it's a really small world once you start meeting people, and it still surprised me, but it shouldn't. Like, oh, this person? Wow, that's crazy.
Right? You never know who you're gonna run into. Like I saw Matt Serra just like in a jiu-jitsu tournament. I was like, what? He's just coaching up his team. That's all. Wow.
I mean, they're just normal guys. Once they get out, once all the the fans are done chanting their names, they're just normal guys.
True.
Yeah.
Reggie Easy Barnett Jr. Shout out.
I can't say I know who that is. Like I said, my buddy Matt Phillips is really the only guy I follow in BKFC. Just because I root for him, and he's a Bomb Squad guy.
We got like a few of the guys. We interviewed a few. My favorite was Ty Stewart. Was originally the youngest BKFC guy at 20, turning 21. But I found out they recently signed an 18-year-old, fresh 18-year-old to the league, and I'm just like, whoa.
I don't get that. If you're an 18-year-old with fighting aspirations, why go that route at first? Any opinion on that, Matt?
I mean, you could be thinking, kind of reverse osmosis, kind of backwards. If he shows he can dominate there, then maybe he can move on somewhere else. Or maybe he's 18 and he's just got kicked out of his parents' house and he's strapped for cash. Different scenarios,
But sanctioned fights are easy to get.
He might just bet on himself.
You're not going to be getting paid
Just make that leap
right away, though. They pay pretty well from what I hear.
I was going to say, I'm kind of maybe I'm misinformed, but I'm under the impression the paydays aren't really that big.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
sure not the biggest, but in terms of your accomplishments to get them, you know what I mean? Like him being 18, that's probably the best he could get at this moment. Now, if he invested in himself and took the proper MMA fights, he's going to be getting paid more than that in a couple of years. But could be a right away type of thing.
I completely believe, and you have to invest in yourself for success. I totally believe that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you, buddy? You ever fought? Have you fought at all?
Oh heck yeah! Fight at the scrapyard.
You got to watch both their fights. They have great fights.
Yeah, we both fought. We both fought. He's
for street beefs.
I fought amateur back in 2012. And I fight for street beefs now.
Chuck Norris doesn't fear death. Death fears Chuck Norris. That's right.
Fact of life.
I won my last fight, first round submission.
That's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
Aiden held a belt too. He's a boxer, man.
I can't do that MMA.
Hey, Matt, are you the street beef champ?
I mean, I was at one point, and I stopped fighting for them after that. But yeah, I was a heavyweight champ for a little bit there.
They really flew that dude out from California to fight you.
Yeah.
Shinigami.
I haven't watched too many of his fights, but I mean, you guys had a good go.
We definitely did. I have a lot of pent up energy about that fight and the way it played out and stuff. But I've moved past it. Like, it sounds silly, but the first round ended early. 15.
I know you thought it was over. You thought it was over.
I did think it was over, and I celebrated hard, man. I was jumping on the cage. I jumped on one cage, ran to the other side, jumped on that cage. I jumped so much.
It was hilarious, but it was also
I was on autopilot the rest of the fight for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I've never experienced that, but I would think it would be hard to, the fight's over, that weight lifted off your shoulder, and then oh shit, no, it's not. Okay, let's keep it rocking. So I can't imagine what that would be like.
It was really tough. It was my biggest fight ever to that point. They did a lot of promo. There was a good amount of people there. It was loud. Oh, it was an amazing feeling. And then they were like, "Oh no, I'll get back in there." I was like, "Oh."
Those backyard events, like
a lot from it.
You never. I mean, they run pretty legit. I mean, I see that backyard stuff and I'm like, man, it's got to be so Bush League.
No.
I mean, they do
not to be disrespectful, but you know what I mean.
Especially a scrapyard where Buddy V fights, very professional. Very professional.
It's
a little more raw. You don't know what might happen, but still, you're there to fight. You get the banging out, but the scrapyard, seeing camera quality, turf on the ground. I mean, it's incredible. Slow
we like to do like the bigger names. We like to have pre-match for some of the newer people coming in or coming out. We do it smoker style, so that way they show up. Within 10-pound sliding scale, within a certain level as well. So that way you're not going to have somebody who's had amateur fights and somebody with their first fight. They're not going to go against each other. So
yeah, they don't.
Thank you.
That happen a lot.
Now I have to unfortunately say that all the viewers and the wonderful people having a good time. We're getting close to the mark. So before I have to let these two wonderful fighters go, who even though they're as nice as they seem, can really rip your face off if they wanted to. I gotta ask, what are your social medias? Where can we find you at?
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Pretty much everything is Big Smile MMA.
Josh Kline, Klinemania. I'm pretty available online. I Instagram and Facebook. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you, Matt. I'm looking forward to our fight even more now. I got one question for you, man, and that's what you gonna do when Klinemania runs wild on you.
I like it.
Yeah, I ripped the shirt off.
No, stop! Oh my God!
Mine is all peace until we get in the cage, and then I'm snatching teeth.
Like I said, the best man will win come fight night. I believe that.
Oh,
I love the respect. All right. So please, you two have a wonderful night, and thank you.
Hey, it was a pleasure to meet you guys, and hey, maybe we'll see you guys down the line again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can have the winner on after the fight.
I don't do MMA. Fuck that. Y'all have fun.
That was a crazy fun show. Real quick, I know that we can't forget the section that everyone loves, Buddy V's Fighters of the Week.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
Well. Oh, shit.
So, the fun one we're going to do this week is I'm going to skip it. I don't feel psych. Yeah, right.
I was going to say, oh, shit.
Now, I'll pick these two fun ones. One, Street Beast West Coast, Earthling 7. I am so freaking excited, man. His fight with Big Daddy William, Hart in the Fight put out a promo, and it looks killer. And I mean, I've seen Earthling 7 just slowly grow from the people he's fought, and seeing the skill, everything else, I really, really am impressed. And I want to continue to see where he goes. And I think before the Big Daddy William fight, he was 4-0, I think, or something. So I'm curious to see who wins it.
He's been on a tear.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, all right. And thank you very much, Ryan A. McDonald.
Thank you, Ramen.
And the second one is actually from the Scrapyard. It's a kickstand. Now I'm very curious because he's got a couple wins. He's coming off. He has some heavy hands. He's calm. He's very calm. He even seems he seems like he's a quiet guy. And even outside the cage, he wasn't very loud. He's very like kind of humble. So I was curious that he lets all that out in the cage. And I was just told or saw that he's gonna be fighting Lights Out. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out because with Lights Out being a little bit more sporadic, a little bit more energetic, always popping around the cage versus a very calm demeanor. I mean, even Turtle can pick his shots, but Turtle will still walk people down. The opponents he's had, I feel like Kickstand is a very relaxed, and when he goes, he just explodes all at once. Until then, he's waiting. So those are my two, Kickstand and Earthling 7. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Earthling, I've heard about Earthling 7. I haven't watched. I've seen one or two of his fights. He's a fucking warrior, and Kickstand versus Lights Out. Sheesh. Yeah, he definitely deserves Buddy V Fighter of the Month. I'm not gonna lie. Kickstand is that guy.
Yeah.
That guy. Between them both, though, man, between them both, I give it to Earthling 7 just because I know that he's like the ascension, the skill ascension is there.
Damn, yeah. Kickstand 200. I thought he was like
190, I
70,
think, right?
and he was dropping down. I could be wrong, but to answer your question, yes, you should fight. I think that if you have no training with no fights, no anything, if you want to get training in, sure. Realistically, if you say screw it, you go out there. No matter what happens, you know where to build from. And that's the biggest thing. Because even like before my first fight, I did some working out, did a little bit. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be good. I'm this. You do not know how much you need until you actually just get in there. And like people always say, sounds cliche, cardio. Because it's not like hitting a bag. When you get hit and the wind's knocked out of you and someone's still going, you have to be able to take a deep breath, keep your composure. But I definitely feel get out there. We've had a lot of people come out for the first fight. Some have had training, some have had no training. Some have won, some have lost. I mean, you never know. I think you should. And if you truly want to and you want to wait 1 month and then train. But realistically, just the sooner you get out of there, it's out of your system. And you can say, hey, I want to go again, but I want to wait a few months. I want to get into a gym. I want to get stronger. I want to build my lungs. So what do you think, Canadian?
Don't be scared.
You haven't even sparred though?
Don't be scared.
As I said, just as long as you hit a bag, know how to throw a couple combos, watch some videos, and from there, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Definitely get some training in, man. Get some training in before you go. Know what you're doing because you can get hurt out there. It's a very friendly environment, but realistically, when we're in the cage, we're a different breed of person, so somebody might take your head off. Just somebody might take your head off, like, and really
you'll get a level 5. Don't worry, you'll get a level 1.
You'll get a level 1, and level 1 might, I don't know, you still never know who you're fighting. The way shout out to Fire Chicken. You never know who you're fighting, but they match you up fairly. Get some training in. Prepare. It's like having a gun, right? A pistol, not a fucking AR-15, because that's fucking insane. But it's like having a pistol. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, because you're going to be a level 0 and matched up with a level 0. Sure, okay, that level 0 probably could be somebody who still had a couple of, bar fights, or somebody who took judo as a kid, somebody who hasn't fought professionally or amateur or anything like that. You never know who you're going to get. So
I think that the scared you can never get rid of. Everyone, I get nervous before a fight too. All the way until that cage door locks, I get nervous, and you have to learn how to harness it. And even what Mike Tyson said, anyone that's not scared before a fight's a fool. You have to feel some kind of nerve, some kind of anything, because you don't know. You cannot underestimate your opponent. Anything could happen. You could come out on top. You could come out on bottom. You don't know. And when you face those fears, you rise and you come to the occasion. Then that's the level of confidence and strength that when you show to yourself that you have, that you can still, no matter what happens, you're gonna get up and walk away. It's something that can't be described. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But we are getting close, so you want to give any shout outs to Canadian, any places where we can all find you?
First of all, I want to say, before I do this plug, special shout out to Jay Gotham, man. Jay Gotham, you my nigga, man. For real. You my nigga, man. Shout out to the Scrapyard, the Scrap Talk podcast, hosted by presented by Heart in the Fight. Boom. There we go. Canadian Fire Chicken Viking Warrior, Jay Gotham, and myself. Don't miss the shit. Don't miss the shit. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Don't fucking miss it. It's a good show. Wednesdays at 7. Presented by Heart in the Fight. Like and subscribe. Cool, proud partner, and supporter of Yankee and the Brit. We love y'all.
Yep.
I didn't play for the Lakers and the Celtics. Look at me. But
all right, so I got shout out to Overtime Hustling, as all y'all saw earlier. You got the magazine because we have a good time. Your boy was featured in it. Bam, Buddy V, or oops, right there. With Viking Warrior. Then you also have the Yankee and the Brit with their own page right there, full of all the fun times, fun things. Shout out to my brand Zwell. You got Zwell-World for the website. You can go check it out. I have some new stuff that dropped, new images coming out soon, and you better be on the lookout because I always got lots of fun, dope stuff. Not to mention, I have a booth set up recently, probably this next month, in a week and a half, at a huge wrestling event, professional wrestling event, and it's like WWE style, all here. And I'm gonna be there representing. So if it grows and I sell out, you're gonna see even more new merch. So make sure you check it out. Instagram, Zwell_Buddy V. And that's YouTube, 253 Buddy V. I have one more episode of Up Close and Personal coming out. After that, season 2, I'm gonna start filming. I've got people lined up. You gotta stay tuned. And by this weekend, I will have some interviews up with the fighters from the most recent fight. So, and Zwell, whatever the fuck you want.
There we go.
So thank you all. And in the words of Jay, like we like to finish off every time, one world, one love. Do shit.